This is IBM's Watson. It's an artificial intelligence initially designed to play Jeopardy, a game that requires an extremely high level of memory retention and applicability. In 2011, Watson won against two former world champions, proving that an artificial intelligence can beat humans in their own pursuit for knowledge. And to do this, Watson had to utilize two fundamental qualities of an artificial intelligence. Firstly, an artificial intelligence can do many things at once. It can work days and nights and learn one thing better and faster than a human ever can. It can aggregate millions of pages of documents and websites and index them in a matter of seconds. Secondly, an artificial intelligence isn't bounded by human cognitive limitations, meaning you can always add more computational power or more memory to allow for a faster AI. For example, to beat its human counterparts, Watson had to utilize over 100 supercomputers. Now, if we took Watson's learning algorithm and taught it something, let's say addition, Watson would be one of the best students of addition we've ever seen. Watson might even come out with a new way to add numbers. But let's give it the simple problem of, if I have one apple and you give me another apple, how many apples do I have? Now, this isn't a trick question. My 4-year-old cousin can solve this, but Watson can't. Watson doesn't have the innate ability for inference, can't take knowledge and turn it into intelligence without anyone teaching it. More specifically, Watson doesn't know that addition can be applied to apples as well. This ability is defined in psychology as fluid intelligence, and it gives us the ability to solve problems in novel situations. My research is in creating artificial intelligence that has this capacity. But why would anyone want to do this? Well, the ultimate expression of understanding something is being able to recreate it. And as my personal hero, Dr. Richard Feynman, said, "What I cannot create, I do not understand." Being able to recreate this type of intelligence will give us a better understanding of our own, and perhaps help us arrive at ways to learn better, or even help those whose cognitive function is damaged, which is the case for many mentally ill patients. Now, modern AIs are based off of a framework known as artificial neural networks. It's a technology that simulates synthetic learning and allows machines to give the appearance of learning by simulating the synapses and connections between neurons in our brain. A simple neural network may look something like this. Like our brains, there's some sort of an input, so using the analogy of addition, it'd be the two numbers that we need to add together. Each circle or neuron here represents a miniature version of logic, activated by some sort of a mathematical function. And we take these inputs and we run it through each of the neurons or mathematical functions, and we get an output, which is the two numbers added together. And we tune those mathematical functions to give the simulation of learning. Now, by doing this repeatedly, we're able to emulate logic and give the appearance of learning. But when we introduce apples into the system, the artificial intelligence no longer knows what to do. It knows how to add, but it doesn't know where to apply it. It's lost a fundamental understanding of what addition is. So in 2014, I decided to create an artificial intelligence that could par the human cognitive. And what I quickly realized was that the artificial neural network was fundamentally too restrictive for true learning. What we were doing, in a sense, was giving the artificial intelligence a pre-made brain and telling it to learn everything it can. We were limiting its potential by giving it a brain in the first place. So I went back to the drawing boards and tried to map out what really happens when we learn. And what I came out with was a new framework that creates its own mind while it learns. What I'd come out with was a skull of sorts, a place that contains the primordial soup of learning. Rather than being predefined to a set of parameters to learn within, this artificial intelligence had the freedom to choose where to learn, how to learn, and how to apply what it's learned. Rather than telling it how to learn, or rather than telling it what to learn, I told it how to learn. So this model of intelligence represents the simplest model of intelligence. And if we're to solve all of the hidden complexities behind this model, we will have solved the problem of recreating human intelligence. So what makes this model so uniquely different? Well, firstly, normal AIs, or neural networks, can learn only one thing and apply it in only one way. This AI, however, was able to learn many interdisciplinary fields and fluidly apply them together, similar to how a human would do research, but still without the cognitive limitations that humans have. For example, to understand that Taylor Swift sings songs, and that makes her a singer, it had to be able to understand what a singer was and how the music industry works, to be able to get these types of relationships independent of humans. The same type of intelligence could be used to understanding how different medicines are related, or how treatments are delivered by doctors. Now, secondly, this entire artificial intelligence organized itself according to what neuroscientists call neocortical columns. Neocortical columns are the building blocks of many basic cognitive functions, including thinking, memory, and even dreaming. What you see on your left is a representation of what we as humans used to know and observe about human neocortical columns. And what you see on your right is a representation of the neocortical columns of this artificial intelligence. And it's persisted almost identically to that of the human neocortical columns. We're now able to get a simple neuron by neuron representation of some basic cognitive functions of this artificial intelligence. And it opens up the door to understanding what's happening at the neural level of, say, a schizophrenic patient. It's like having awake open brain surgery on a patient without ever putting a human's life at risk. Now, we can take these frames and put them together and get some of the first live visual representations of learning. We can see the synapses in the brain being connected, formed, and destroyed as it learns. These are some of the first live functional representations of learning. Now, we're in the early days of our research. There are many paths to explore and many that we haven't even thought about yet. But with more research, this has the potential to derive intelligence faster and more efficiently than otherwise imaginable. As we transition from the information age to the intelligence age, artificial intelligence is the key to better understanding the world around us and the world within our own minds. And as the story of intelligence is just beginning to be written, its future is just a matter of perspective. Thank you.